Hey y'all, it's your Popboy. Come on in, pull up a chair, have a seat. Well, let's have a little talk here. So I've been doing quite a bit of research, but here's the main things, just straight up, that I think everybody should know and keep in mind when they're creating their player this year in 2K19. So I'm here to bring you guys just a few bottom lines, and also some important numbers. But real quick, before we get into it, let me hit you with this. Just be yourself, okay? Don't be a clone. Don't let anybody tell you what kind of player you have to make. Okay, so when I go over this stuff with you guys and when you're creating your player, make sure to keep in mind how you want to play. What kind of player you'll have the most fun with and you'll be the most effective with. What kind of player suits your play style. Just think about what your player needs to be able to do to be the type of player you want him to be and put that in your player. And of course, there's always going to be trade-offs, okay? Sacrificing one thing for another. So you have to make some decisions. Okay, now that I'm off my soapbox, let's get into it here. The first thing you should know and you should have in your mind when you're creating your player this year is that 2K, they are putting more emphasis on your primary archetype. So we all need to look at ourselves and be able to identify what is that number one trait that we absolutely need our player to have. But this year we for sure need to pick a clear number one, and once you do, make sure you have that in your primary archetype. And you might be wondering why I came to this conclusion. Well, here's just some examples. Okay, I'm going to rattle these off. Let me know if you're catching on to a theme here. This year in 2K19, only primary sharps will have the showboat landings on green jump shots. Only primary playmakers will be able to drop somebody to the floor on a dribble move. Only primary shot creators will be able to drop somebody to the floor on a step back move. Only primary rim protectors will be able to do grab blocks. And all these things are true until you hit 94 overall. Okay, let me explain. All the things that I listed are things that your player will be able to do when he is in takeover mode. Okay, and if your player is a 60 to a 93, the takeover mode will only apply to your primary archetype. So all that time before your player hits a 94, which we know can be a while, he will only get takeover mode for his primary attributes. And when that happens, he'll get a plus 10 boost on those attributes. He'll unlock some cool animations like I just listed, and you'll be able to do more quote-unquote like high-risk plays, something you normally wouldn't try to pull off that would be too risky. And just a side note, if you're a pure this year, when you hit 94, your takeover will just become longer. Now, the more highly rated your player is, the longer the takeover is anyway, but it gets a pretty good boost in length when you hit 94 overall if you're a pure. So you guys can see, we can all see where 2K is going with this, right? There's more emphasis on that primary archetype this year, so build accordingly. Alright, so we all got that. On to the next thing. And this is really important, guys. Rating requirements. And what I mean by this is there's really two things you gotta know. Number one, for several different types of animations, there are minimum rating requirements. Okay, we know this. Your player has to have certain ratings in certain categories to unlock certain animations. So first we need to know what are all those benchmarks. And don't worry, I got them all for you guys. I'll get them to you in a sec. But number two, we're going to want to know our player's rating caps, which means based on my build, what is the maximum rating that I could possibly get on a certain attribute. Alright, and that gets kind of complicated. A lot of factors go into it, but the good news is that 2K is going to be telling you this year while you're building your player. What a concept. I can't believe the past couple years that they haven't done that. So you'll be able to see right there what your rating cap is. So the only thing you'll need to know, what is the benchmark I need to be able to hit to unlock whatever animations I want. And like I said, I got them all for you guys. I've compiled them all right here, so I'm just going to give them to you. So first, in order to be a tier 3 ball handler and unlock the elite dribble moves, your ball control rating has to be at least an 86. And by the way, all the pro dribbling animations are unlocked at a 70 ball control. Now the next thing, this is a little different this year. What I found was that a lot of the cool layup packages, okay, those have a rating requirement this year too. And you have to have an 80 driving layup this year to unlock a lot of those layup packages. And of course the dunks, just like every year, have various rating requirements. Now the highest one has gone up from last year, so in order to unlock every dunk in the game, 90 driving dunk. Now contact dunks, to unlock those you need a driving dunk rating of 85. except for big man contact dunks, where you gotta have a driving dunk of only 50, but you need a standing dunk of 75. And then to unlock the alley-oops, you need a driving dunk of at least 65. To unlock the park dunks, you gotta have a driving dunk of at least 70. And to unlock the park alley-oops, you need a driving dunk of at least 85. Alright guys, so make sure that whatever benchmarks apply to the player you're trying to make sure you know that number. Alright, so we got all that, and there's one last thing I want to leave you guys with, and this is partially something that I don't know 100%, but I'm pretty sure I got a good idea of how it's going to go. But first let me tell you what I know, okay, and this is about the Takeover system. So like I said earlier, Takeover is going to boost your player's primary attributes by plus 10, so it's going to literally add 10 to those individual attributes. So you want to keep this in mind, especially for your primary archetype, of course, while you're building your player, because that plus 10 can push you into another tier or push you over a benchmark. And then what happens? So for example, if you're a primary playmaker, slasher, shot creator, you have ball control, ball handling as one of your primary attributes. Let's say I have one of those players and my ball control rating is an 82. So obviously getting a plus 10 boost is going to push me over that 86 benchmark into tier 3. And this is the part that I know for a fact. I know that when that happens, you will then be able to speed boost and explode out of step back jumpers just like a normal tier 3 while you're in Takeover. However, and here's a part that I'm pretty sure about, I do not believe that will allow you to somehow access the elite dribble moves. I mean, there's no way for you to like go to the store and purchase them and equip them somehow in the middle of the game. Like in previous years, you can buy as many temporary boosts as you want to, but it's not going to help you unlock any animations. So I'm pretty sure that Takeover will allow you to unlock special animations as long as they're not actual animations that are in packages that they charge VC for in the store that are locked for your player. Okay, there'll be other things like speed boosting or exploding out of the step backs or doing grab blocks, stuff like that. Alright guys, so there it is. Straight up, that's what you're going to want to know and keep in mind. And everything from the general approach to the mindset all the way down to the hard numbers. But seriously, if you go in with that mentality and you got all that information, you'll be good to go. Alright, so and of course, if you have any questions about any of this stuff, or really anything with 2K19, hit me in the comments. You guys know I'll always do my best for you. And of course, if you found this helpful, you enjoyed the vid, don't forget to leave a like down below. You can help the channel grow, which will only allow me to test more and find out more to improve the game in the future. And if you like this kind of thing, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Then it'll give you the option to hit your notifications on, and you'll get an alert anytime I finish testing anything and I've learned something about how to better our game experience. You'll get an alert on that upload. You'll always be in the loop. Now, speaking of which, we got 2K19 about to drop, so you know what that means. I'm back to the lab again. My happy place. But good talk, and I'll see y'all soon.